Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessie Nealand, and today we're going to talk about the role of perfectionism in body image issues. So perfectionism in general is about the idea that you have to work on yourself, whatever aspect you have perfectionism around, until you get to be perfect in that space. And then you'll be above criticism, you will be above failure, you will be above rejection. Basically, like being perfect is the key to staying safe, getting everything you need in life. Really having what you want is on the other side of perfecting yourself. That's the whole idea of perfectionism, which basically means that you don't get to have what you want until you become perfect. So people will spend an entire lifetime, a lot of times, chasing perfection before they actually go after the things that they want. So a great example of this would be, I'm not going to travel until I lose the weight, or I'm not going to put myself out there and start dating until I lose the weight. Or, anything that people have, I'm not going to go after that promotion until I lose the weight. Or, it could have anything to do with other aspects of how you look. It could also have to do with other things, like until I, really perfect who I am as a person, I'm not going to put myself out there to date or, consider having a family with someone or whatever it is. There's usually an idea that by working towards perfection, you have a chance at making sure that it will go perfectly. It will be safe. You will get what you want. You can't fail. All these sort of fantastical ideals and ideas are on the other side of you achieving perfection. Now, the thing is, of course, you can't achieve perfection. It doesn't exist. Not in your body, not in your life, not in any aspect of anything does perfection actually exist, which means people will often just spend their entire life chasing it and chasing it. And they never actually go after what they want, which is sort of what perfectionism functions for. It keeps you small. It keeps your life small. It keeps you from putting yourself out there in ways that feel vulnerable. It keeps you from risking failure. It keeps you from risking being judged or being rejected by other people. So it really serves kind of a valuable purpose. If you don't want to face the incredibly uncomfortable situation of somebody judging you or rejecting you or experiencing failure, a really great way to go about that is to be a perfectionist and just chase perfection and hope that on the other side of you becoming perfect, you won't have to deal with any of that stuff. Everything will be easy and you'll get what you want. So when it comes to body image stuff, this is what's going on. I mean, this is what's always going on with perfectionism, but this is what's going on when people will try to perfect their bodies, obsess over perfecting their bodies, without even usually realizing it, that on the other side of that, they're hoping for a very specific outcome. Whether that outcome is about safety, meaning like they will be safe from rejection, safe from failure, safe from criticism or judgment, or about getting their needs met. Like on the other side, they will be happy or they will be respected or they will, everybody will like them and they'll feel accepted everywhere. Or their family will be nice to them, whatever it is. There's a very particular after I become perfect fantasy. So that's how this functions in body image. A lot of times perfectionism around trying to like fix your flaws or whatever is really about sort of the endless wild goose chase that is wanting to live a life that you are afraid to live, wanting to get somewhere that you don't feel like you have the resilience to get to because you might have to face failure or rejection or judgment or whatever on the way. So when we talk about body image perfectionism, the solution is not like nothing is going to get better if you try to get perfect. That's all I'm going to say about that. You can't have the perfect body. So no matter what you do, you get the Botox, you get the plastic surgery, you do cellulite freezing treatments. I don't know. You do everything, right? You might actually feel like, okay, I'm getting really close, but there is no perfect. And your brain will never tell you you are perfect. You did it. You look how you want to look, because the whole point is your life won't magically become easy. And you won't magically avoid failure. You won't magically avoid criticism. That's what you're chasing, which means the goalpost just changes. Now it's something else. There's always going to be flaws to focus on if you are a body image perfectionist. Doesn't work. So what we have to focus on instead is building resilience in the face of failure, criticism, judgment, rejection, whatever it is that you are afraid of. And we have to go after the goal of being perfect directly and now in this body. So if what you really want is to travel, you have to travel now in this body. And then perfectionism doesn't really matter, right? Like you didn't lose the weight, but here you are traveling and having a great time. Or you put yourself out there in the dating pool if that's what you really want and you're waiting until you look perfect to do. You do that now, and then you start dating people in this body now. And all of a sudden that perfectionism can kind of become a little bit less loud and important. Not saying it'll totally go away, but by doing the thing that you're hoping will feel safe once you feel perfect, before you feel perfect, because you're never going to feel perfect, you actually have a chance at lessening the power of that kind of mental pattern of like, have to be perfect, have to fix my flaws. So it allows you some space to just get what you actually want without being perfect. And of course, you kind of have to pair this with really practicing being okay with being an imperfect human, which for a lot of people does not feel safe. And for the most part, I would say for good reason. Somebody at some point in your life probably made you feel unsafe for having imperfections or flaws or whatever it is, whether about your body or just about you as a person. They made you feel like this is going to cost you love, connection, acceptance, respect, whatever it is. So you probably, like most people, have good reason for feeling insecure about your imperfections. And the fantasy, this beloved fantasy, is I can just become perfect. I will avoid all of this discomfort. So you go after what you want, but you also have to deal with that discomfort. Build the resilience in that space. It is uncomfortable to be rejected. It is uncomfortable to fail, but it is not the end of anything. It is just an aspect of being a human, particularly an aspect of being a human who has a fulfilling and satisfying life that they are actually like really aligned with. Because we keep ourselves so small. Perfectionism keeps our lives and ourselves so small. And in order to overcome it, you really have to just face shit out of everything. Like really put yourself out there, face the vulnerability, do the things that scare you that you're hoping will feel easy and safe when you're perfect. Do them now and build the resilience and the tolerance for the fact that life can be uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean anything about you. If you fail, that doesn't mean anything about you. All the most successful people fail constantly. It's how they got to where they are. They built a resilience around failure. Building shame resilience, building resilience in the face of rejection or people criticizing you. These are skills you can build. And as you build them, body perfectionism will lessen and lessen. So that is a really common thing that I see in my clients, the sort of obsessive-y perfectionist view of bodies. If you find yourself in that space, see if any of this resonates. See if maybe you want to go after the after, like whatever it is that being perfect is supposed to get you or you're hoping it gets you. Go after it directly. And in the middle of it, build that resilience, face your fears, and recognize that it is safe for you to just be a human person who fails and is imperfect. That is genuinely okay. Might be uncomfortable. In fact, I guarantee you it will be uncomfortable, but it is okay. And when you build that sense of resilience in yourself, your self-worth improves, you have more grit and courage, and all of a sudden how you look is just not going to feel quite as important. And all of this obsessive, like flaw fixing kind of mentality will quiet down a bit. So hope that's helpful. Thank you for watching. If this was useful for you, by all means, leave a comment, hit like, hit share, make sure you subscribe to my channel, turn on the notifications, you know the whole deal. I'm glad to see you here, and I will see you next time.